So what we have here for ephesis looks pretty clear in the sense that the women in Turner's data show more ephesis, whereas the gender distinction in the Jones-Jackson data is not significant. So what seems to have happened is an original feature that the women produced more Creole-like, the men have caught up with the women, in terms of ephesis anyway, as a sort of a basilectization along the Creole continuum, and that would be my interpretation what the data here mean. Now, the second pattern is nasal velarization. What do I mean by that? The production of what is an etymological alveolar nasal as a velar nasal next to the correlate of the diphthong out in syllable final position. This has been recognized as a feature shared between Gullah, Geechee, and Caribbean English lexified Creoles at least since Hancock 1969. To the best of my knowledge, this is unknown non-Creole varieties of English. Nasal velarization has been transcribed but not discussed in Turner's work. So we have down, drown, round, and sundown. And we have an example of this now. The opportunity with the audio recordings, I can actually play it for you. So this is Upside Down, 1932 on Eddystone.
Upside down.
Okay, a little difficult to hear, I admit.
Upside down.
Upside down. I think you can hear it. Now, I think the transcription of nasal velarization in Turner doesn't always seem to be accurate. I chose one example to show you where what we seem to have is nasal velarization, but it doesn't show it in the transcription. So now when time to bank the ground, okay, has an alveolar N in Turner's transcription, but I think it's pretty clear that we have the velar nasal here.
Now when time to bank the ground.
And notice here also that the is not there in the audio recording, so it's now when time to bank ground.
Now when time to bank the ground.
Okay, Jones Jackson 78 is aware that nasal velarization occurs in her data and that the pattern is analogous to Caribbean English lexified Creoles, but she doesn't sort of do it a very deep discussion anyway. Nasal velarization also frequently occurs in present-day Gullah, Geechee, and Gullah, Geechee accented English. So this is my field work with speakers on Sapelo. So you have down, town, gown, clown, round, sound, and ground. I've asked people on Hilton Head Island, and to them nasal velarization is instantly recognizable. As soon as I brought up the subject with a very linguistically aware person, Emery Campbell, many of you know him, he recognized this immediately. I said, yeah, we see it. I've also heard it myself among Geechee speakers in Charleston, South Carolina. So what the evidence seems to show is that nasal velarization has been maintained as a distinctive phonological feature of Gullah Geechee from at least the 1930s to the present day. Third pattern discussed today will be monophthongization and raising of out. The correlative English out has clearly undergone significant changes as a look at Jones-Jackson's dissertation work shows. So we have dong and hos for down and house transcribed. Now, given that we have this novel data source in the original Turner recording, we can have an opportunity here to chart divergent change because, again, to the best of my knowledge, this rendition of the correlative out doesn't appear to be parallel in any variety of English. So what do we have in Turner's data? He was sort of fudging over the rounding contrast in R anyway, as I described here, but he noticed what he calls raising of turn script A to turn A before voiceless consonants. However, when we look at the recordings, we actually already find monophthongal open O. So now I need to go back to my recordings and play them again for you. And this time, if you would, please listen to the renditions of correlates of owl.
Okay, then.
I think this is pretty clearly difficult. And that one here in the context.
Take a piece of blank bottle away.
Piece of blank bottle away. Okay, it doesn't have a diphthong there. Pretty much sounds like a short O there. Okay, what about owl in Jones-Jackson's data? They fall into 4 classes. There's monophthongal O, the diphthongs O, out, and out. What table 6 shows is that monophthong has become the dominant variant, certainly by 1978, or better said, the mid to late 70s, with 65 out of 81 tokens, 80% showing the monophthong. So there seems to be a divergent change going on here. And what appears to be occasional occurrences of this in Turner's fieldwork, the monophthongization come raising as we can understand it, has become pretty dominant within a relatively short span of 40 years. So, in terms of the conclusions, the results of the current study, preliminary as they may be, are possible only because people went through the trouble, phonetically transcribed narratives, actually published them, attached them to their published work, and of course the survival of original audio recordings. I think there's enough evidence here to suggest that researchers wishing to gain the most accurate picture, not just the phonology, but also certainly the syntax and the morphosyntax, must use the audio recordings of the Turner collection instead of relying on the published and phonetically transcribed narratives. Good as they are, and as wonderful as they are, and now we have the recordings, and I think we should look at them.